guys, welcome to Get Fit with Reza Home HIIT programming. I have 3 levels for you guys, so do take a look at the programming here. Take screenshots of this programming to help you out with your training program. I'll be going through with you all the exercises here for each level. First up will be your squats. These are your basic squat patterns, nothing much to talk about except that be aware that you have to be pulling your hips back as if sitting on a stool. Key points are to ensure that your feet is gripping the floor, and common mistakes are people who have their toes floating up. Next pattern coming up will be level 2, which will be your squat jumps. Squat jumps will have the acceleration of the hips, knees and ankles. You can take off as high as you want, but most importantly focus on the soft absorption, making sure that you are absorbing your weight carefully from the ball of the feet to the heels into the hips. Final pattern, the level 3, is your squat jump overhead reach. We will be recruiting a lot more body parts here, from your hips, knees, ankles, elbow and shoulders. From a muscle recruitment perspective, we are doing so much more here, involving the triceps, the shoulders and the entire body. This will for sure increase the intensity of your workout. Again, ensure that you're landing softly from the ball of the feet to the heels and absorbing the impact in your hips. Lunge pattern level 1, we will have your alternating reverse lunge. Ensure that you step back enough to create that 90-degree joint angle about the knees. The next thing is to take a look at the upper body. You want to have an athletic forward position with the upper body, so lean forward slightly. This leaning forward will help you recruit the glutes a little bit more to get you off the ground. Again, the basic key tip is to always be able to grip the floor with your toes to keep your body stable. Level 2, let's take a look at that alternating reverse lunge to knee tap. Here we are practicing single leg stability plus a little bit of impact training for you to tap the top of the knee with both of your hands. You can go as easy as what I'm demonstrating, or you could move a little bit more aggressively and increase the acceleration of the movement. For single leg stability, all the more you have to stay focused on grabbing the floor with your feet and keeping your upper torso tight. Level 3, the plyometric variant, ensure that you are accelerating off the ground with that hop at the ankles, so you are recruiting hips, knees and ankles, so you are involving your calf muscles a little bit more on this movement pattern. Plus anything that takes off from the ground will have an increased demand on your cardiovascular system. Focus on landing softly, do not jar and jam the knees. Next, we will have your push-up pattern. The very first one is a regress pattern. Ensure that the knees are on the ground. Keep good plank. Pack your glutes and proceed with the push-ups. The arms with the hands are just outside shoulder width. Do remember to recruit your pecs, triceps and all other stabilizers involved. Next variant coming up, this will be your regular push-up. Again, a push-up is just a moving plank, a plank that's moving up and down and away from the floor. So keep your core tight, glutes tight, quads also tight, hands just outside shoulder width. Pack the shoulders, ensure that you are accelerating from your pec muscles, your chest muscles and your triceps, and keep the rest of the body still. You do not have to rush the movement. Make sure that you have good recruitment of your muscles to protect joint injury. Final variant, level 3, will be your renegade push-up. The renegade push-up is an excellent variant to ensure that you put in both the push and pull pattern. Push and pull pattern. Bear in mind that you have to keep the body as square to the ground as possible without rotating outwards. Try and keep the hips square to the floor. Try your very best not to shift side to side. Make sure the hands and feet are all in line with each other. Front hand in line with the leg at the back. Next movement pattern is your supine quadruped position. You're facing the ceiling, going up into a tabletop. This is about extending your hips up, recruiting the glutes and allowing your hip flexors to stretch. This is extremely demanding for someone like me, where my hips are really tight and also my shoulders are really tight. It's a great primer for the next movement coming up, which is your tripod. Here we have your alternating tripod with a rest position, meaning you will accelerate off the ground with that hand reaching towards the ceiling, come down, bum on the floor, make sure they're well rested, switch and back up again. Make sure that you're stable, make that rotation, hands grabbing the floor and reach towards the ceiling. Common mistake is people will tend to rush before they get a good grip on the floor. Ensure your fingers are splayed open, your palms are firm on the floor, and take that acceleration. Now we will have the third variant, level 3, where you will not rest on the floor. Make sure that bum is off the floor, make the switch and accelerate. So a few key safety tips here again. Make sure your hands are grabbing the floor, the feet is grabbing the floor. Turn and look towards where you want to go. Common problem is you do not look towards where you want to go. So look towards where you want to go. Turn, look. Next pattern, we will have your lateral lunge. This is your static lateral lunge. Make sure you're moving side to side, pushing your weight side to side. Feet is at 11 to 1 position. Most importantly, it's not about pushing your knee, but rather sitting into the hip. Common mistakes, you will see the knee being pushed forward. Proper technique would mean that you determine the movement through the hip movement. Here is your alternating lateral lunge. Start from the center, off to the side and push off to the side and push off. Now think about off to the side, sit and push off to the side, sit and push off. This movement is more demanding for your abductors and the lateral head of your quadriceps. Again, if you need more recruitment on your abductors, this is one for you. Make sure the feet is 11 to 1 position. Next, we will be challenging your single leg stability. That's right. As you come up, pause and hold. Next, accelerate, pause and hold. Accelerate, pause and hold. The key tip here is to hold your core tight, means the upper torso has to be tight without being loose. If the upper torso is loose, you are unable to maintain that stability at the top. Ensure that the feet is grabbing the floor whilst you lift that knee up and straighten up the entire body. Alright, here's a unique one. We call that the half horse fan clap. It just means that you get into a really wide squat stance, halfway down or quarter way down, and bring those hands from behind your back to above the shoulders. What we are trying to do is again increase the range of motion of your shoulders, stretch out the front delts, upper pecs, and involve the anterior deltoids and medial deltoids, raising the arms up and overhead. Level 2 is taking a proper deep horse stance where you're going low, putting all your weight on your quads. Make sure your quads can take your weight while you reach behind you and bring those hands overhead. If you could, focus on straightening out that elbow and clapping overhead. For me, I have tight lats, therefore I have issues with getting full elbow extension once my hands are overhead. Level 3, we have your plyometric variation. There we go. Look at that. Alright, so make sure you accelerate upwards, bring the feet together, time the clap together. Do remember to land softly as you come up. This requires timing and awareness of the body. Where do you put your body weight? Finally, we have your second last exercise. We have your sit-up. Alright, with your hand assist. The reason we have the hands in front is to add leverage so that it's easier for you to get up. If you can't do regular sit-ups, it's fine. Do it with the hands forward. Level 2 is your basic sit-ups. Hands are beside the head, elbows slightly forward, knee angle roughly 90 degrees. You have to power through and breathe through. Do not stop halfway. First half, second half, breathe. Sometimes you need 2 breaths. The torso twist sit-up requires you to rotate the body at the shoulders. Focus on rotating the body at the shoulders, alright? That will help you improve the range of motion at the midsection, at the mid-torso. This involves your internal and external obliques. Cool, and the final movement pattern is the supine leg movement. So you have to keep your core firm. Movement patterns are predominantly at the hip flexors. And for this one, we involve the knee just to reduce the load on the midsection. So keep the knees at 90 and stretch forward, 90, stretch forward, big range of motion. Try and dig into the floor as best as you can. Level 2, we have your flutter kicks. One leg will be at 45 degrees, the other leg will be parallel to the floor. Keep switching positions in a scissor action. At any point of time, if your back aches, slow down or regress to the previous movement pattern. Finally, level 3, we will have your leg raise to pike. Have your hands firmly pressed on the floor. Focus on the leg raise up to a 90-degree angle and then curling the spine back towards your head and kick towards the ceiling. This variant will involve a lot more of your upper abdominals. It's a great variation. It's not easy for me. It's pretty tough. I hope you enjoyed the HIIT training guidelines here. Do like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. See you on the next video.